Hey everybody, welcome to Uniquely Lutheran, and I am Al Ernst, one of your co-hosts. Happy 2022. Yes, we are in a new year and a new time, and I would introduce you to our co-host, our pastor, Jeff Gross, but he is out on assignment, and I laugh because I always say that he is out on assignment. Actually, let's start with being transparent. In 2022, he is out doing what we should be doing a lot of times in our life, and that is spending time with family. So a busy Christmas and New Year's season, and a deserved couple of days off for Pastor Jeff, and I hope he is having fun. Well, here we are, 2022. Somehow we've made it almost a year with our Uniquely Lutheran show, and many of you probably have enjoyed the interaction between myself and Jeff, and our little fun things about welcome to our friends in Abu Dhabi and everything like that. But yet it doesn't seem like we have many viewers in Abu Dhabi, and in addition to that, you probably wonder as well, why in the heck do these two guys keep doing this stuff, and why does the church continue to do it? In fact, we even upgraded it as we've gone along. Well, we knew that when we came into this at Lent, and then made a decision to carry it on after the Lenten season of 2021, that this was going to be a long-term project. And as a long-term project, we were going to be making a lot of mistakes. We were going to have equipment that would need to be upgraded, things that would need to be done. But what we thought was most important was that we made connection. Whether you are a regular member of our New Life family here that for some reason or another cannot make it in person to church or on some of our event nights, or whether you are a person that is just randomly seeing this, or possibly a person that has gotten a recommendation to watch this show, what we are going to offer you is something new in 2022. And I think with all shows, they upgrade, they evolve, they change, and I think Uniquely Lutheran will do that as well. So with that being said, in the light of the fact that I am so used to passing the baton over to Pastor Jeff, I will lead you in a short word of prayer, and then God help us to just kind of restructure, renew, replenish our batteries, our time, our efforts in any way that we can to get your word of faith and love and service out to people in our communities and really throughout the world. So as we take this adventure, we know you are there with us, and you will guide us and lead us to where we need to go. In Christ's name, amen. All right, so we have given our introductory prayer, which is always the most important, but I want to talk about a couple of things, and stuff that may not be uniquely Lutheran, but it is, I think, uniquely human, and I also believe it is uniquely Christian. And many of you who know me know that I kind of, as a stand-up comedian, words are extremely important to me, and the way we say words, and I have a tendency to try to use words that are not being used, because if you think of your best comedians, and also of our best way to communicate with one another, everybody picks up patterns of things that happen. One of the running jokes, of course, that I have with everybody is that I cannot stand the word amazing, and that is because it seems to me that every sentence, anywhere I read something, anything, I hear something, it is always this amazing orchestra, this amazing piece, hot dog, this amazing person. And so those words get used so often that, in my mind, they kind of lose their meaning. And in the same way, those of you that watch on Facebook or on YouTube, know that we talk about having friends, the friends that join us. Well, to me, the Facebook has taken the word friend and just made it into something I don't quite understand, because random people asking me to friend them on Facebook doesn't necessarily make me their friend. And I always try to get other words to bring us closer together as a group. The other thing that we need to do is we need to grow. And within our growth comes the rededication of our time for our show, which, believe it or not, is really one of a kind. You can say, oh, sure, we see the several religious shows on the Trinity Broadcasting Network or on Sunday morning, or you see those huge productions of somebody like Joel Osteen that comes in on Sunday mornings. And yeah, certainly, those people all have a place in what we do, but where we believe we are unique is that we are just going to come to you one-on-one, very transparent, all right? No hiding things that are going on in people's lives. And with that being said, one of the messages of the Epiphany in terms of that is I find our celebration, and our celebration was just this past Sunday, of the Epiphany. And the Epiphany was literally where the three kings arrived at to see the baby Jesus. Now, we see our manger scenes, and our manger scenes have animals and shepherds and three kings and everything like that. I want to look at that more as like a group picture. And the reason I say that is because people came and went. I would think it would be relatively tough to have Jesus and Joseph standing in that pose with Jesus lying in a manger in a farm and not moving for 12 days. I don't know about you, but I think that'd be a little bit tough. But excuse me, as I'm going to have to sip a little water because I don't have time to pass it over to my partner to talk. And I want to get the idea of what Epiphany really is. And because we say it in many different ways, I looked it up in the dictionary, and I also have heard it in so many other sentences other than in the religious sense. Because when somebody has an epiphany, they talk about it in the fact that it's a new idea. It's the idea. It's literally the light bulb turning on. I have an epiphany, and my epiphany is such and such, and this is where we're going to change and where we're going to go. And I relate that back to our walk in faith as Christians, to the fact that the three kings gave us the idea that these were the high-minded people of their day, and they brought the epiphany. We have the star, the North Star that supposedly and I believe did, but we don't know. We weren't there to give the directions, because unfortunately there was no Google Maps or a Siri that told you to turn right at the next sand dune. You never heard that. So when I say epiphany, I hope in 2022 that New Life Lutheran Church, I really hope the Lutheran Church, but really the church in general and the world, has an epiphany. Because as many times as we have heard, and I have just turned 60 years old, I constantly hear this is where we're at a crossroads, where we are going to determine which way we're going to go. It gets very dramatic that we are in some kind of transitional state. Well, folks, as we all know, as I get older and older each and every day, we are constantly in a transitional state. That is what life is. Life is a transition from one being to the end of your life, and you're always evolving, you're always transitioning. Some of us fight that evolvement in the sense that maybe we aren't giving an opportunity to look at ideas, and you say, well, that could violate our core values. Well, yes, it maybe a new idea does change a core value. And really, in the big picture, there is nothing wrong with that, because if we are people of faith, if we do profess to be Christians and we do believe in the grace of Jesus and all of those things that we do say are our very, very core beliefs, well, then God is giving us new opportunities to make decisions, to see where we are, who we're going to be, and who we were. We can always go back to and say, okay, this part of me, I want to continue. I like this. This other part of me is not something that I really want to do anymore. And that, folks, is the kind of the fun of life. It is the fun of the Epiphany. It's the fun of the fact that if you really do look at it, when we go back to celebrating our communion, whether it's in our little communion cups or whether it is a full-fledged communion, somehow, some way, we evolve. We get a new start. God constantly gives us a new start. I mean, God gives us a new start right this minute if we say, God, please give me a new start. And that is the cool part about it. The harder part is to say, all right, with that new start, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to evolve? What direction am I going to go? Because I have these habits. And habits are such easy things to get a hold of and grab a hold of, and you don't like them, but they keep going and going and going because it's my habit. And especially a lot of us got a lot of habits, both good and bad, throughout the years of our pandemic. We really did morph in the new habits, and some of those habits I think are wonderful. Others of them, I think we really need to make some changes and make some decisions on how we're going to go about it. So, with that being said, and again, my apologies violating every television and video code by hearing me gulp water there, but that's just the human experience. Our edition of Uniquely Lutheran today is really going to facet on this idea of you evaluating, challenge of you evaluating, of which I really did. I really took stock in my own life. And to say that to you as publicly as this is, because regardless if we only have 4 people watching it live, this goes into the New Life Lutheran Church archives, and of course someday it can always be pulled back out again. But to tell you that I have battled some major health issues related to my heart, and the fact that I've battled the issues related to my job as a stand-up comedian, and the things that we all go through. And the reason everybody always asks how you're such a public person, you love to make people laugh, but yet you're such a private person and you hide. Well, no, I don't hide. What I do is my opinion is really simple. Every one of us out there has challenges. We have bad habits. We're human. And for me to come back out here and to tell you, here's all my tough things that I've done, or here's the things in life that are bad, you might have a little bit of empathy for it, but on the other hand, you're going, hey, I've got my own tough things that I'm going through. Everybody has them at every level. And whether we are the poorest, the poverty-stricken, or the absolute richest of rich, somebody has an absolute, they got this space where they're challenging something that they're doing. So what I want to make the year of Epiphany, the light bulb that I call 2022, at least for me, is the year of authenticity, of being fully human and fully Christian at the same time. The fact of the matter is, am I going to make mistakes? Yep, there is absolutely no doubt I am going to make mistakes. Am I going to be careless about other people's feelings unintentionally? Yes, yeah, I sure am. I'm going to freely own it. And when I own it, I also want to challenge you in my algorithm today of how I hope that we are going to change in 2022 and in terms of evolvement of the show into three basic items of what I say my 2022 is. And I just wrote what I call my 3 C's, and one of them I'm gonna even change one little word on this one on the very bottom, and even though we're not going to get to it until the end because I'm going to write the word care here. I say, folks, don't complain. All right, don't complain. There on things you can do nothing about, on behaviors that other people have that we can't control, on bad breaks, on everything. Don't complain. There is action. There's taking action on things that maybe you think are a little bit needed to be taken on, but there's also just complaining to complain and to say, oh, poor me, and if so and so hadn't done this, and here's my complaint, and now all of a sudden we become victims. I can complain all day long that, unfortunately, those of you that are traveling will understand this, that my flight has been canceled 92 times. And I can also say I'm a victim of the airlines. I'm a victim of trying to travel and everything like that. Well, that gets us nowhere. Solutions are what gets us to that place. So when I say don't complain, what I mean is look at what you can make a solution for. Number 2 is don't compare. And I can tell you, in the world of entertainment, that is one of the hardest things that in my 33 years I have ever done. And I think the hardest thing for what some of my fellow entertainers do. But simply, when I say don't compare, the fact of the matter is that we get selected, moved to work different shows, and when you get booked to do a certain show, oh my goodness, you're on the top of the world. And then when you are passed over for somebody else that you think might not be as good as you are, oh my goodness, we're comparing, and then we're complaining. And then the last one is it's a dual word, and the reason I wrote control over care here is the fact of the matter is when I put don't care, people automatically shovel back from that a little bit and go, what are you talking about? Al, you're a Christian. You're supposed to care. You're supposed to love. And what I am saying is, so you understand, don't care about what you can't control. All right? Don't care about what you can't control. There are plenty of things in our life that we have uber information because of the society, because of Google, because of what we work in. We have uber information. We have it at our fingertips. We have it immediately, and we end up getting all wrapped up, in those things that we have no control over. And what I say, obviously, is don't care about them. Care about only what you can control. If you see something out there that you believe is an absolute train wreck, and you need to make something happen, then you know what? Do something about it. And then we go into an idea of someone saying, Al, well, you sound like an activist. You're an activist. Well, I believe there are places for activists in this world. There is no doubt in my mind. They're very controversial. They get a lot of heat, but that's because they really believe in something. I would not call myself an activist. I'm not that guy. Not at least of yet. There hasn't been something that I have been so underwritten, so motivated to do that I'm taking. If you can say anything, I'm an activist about making sure that this show goes on, because I do believe it does impact, even if it's one person at a time. What I am is an advocate. I am a great advocate, and I'm an advocate about doing the right things in life that will get you to the places that you want to be, because if you are the places that you want to be, usually they are not in conflict of the places of where God is. So, with that all being said, yes, we are in the Epiphany mode. We are getting ready to get into the celebration mode, because part of our time here at Uniquely Lutheran is going to be celebrating a pagan event, which is called Mardi Gras. In the religious term, it's the time up to Shrove Tuesday, which is basically the time that we are kind of having the big party before everything gets cut down over the time of Lent into Easter. Now, the thing I find very funny about all this right now is that we go from the birth of Jesus and the Epiphany, and then it's like they say he lived for 33 years. We fast forward 33 years, just like the tape goes by, and then suddenly we get to Shrove Tuesday and then to Ash Wednesday in the next 40 days or so. And now we've lived an entire life, and now all of a sudden we are now into Jesus' final days on earth before the crucifixion. As we know, that the church year runs a little bit different than many of the other times, but there'll be some really cool events. The baptism of Jesus, the transfiguration, and I think some great opportunities to celebrate. So we celebrate all those things, and when we do, we call it the time of Mardi Gras. So with that, my confidence is up that next week Pastor Jeff will be back on the show. We will be doing some changes. In addition to the changes, they say you can't get anything unless you toot your own horn. So let me toot very quickly. Please, if you're watching this on Facebook, like it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like it so we can move forward. And in addition to that, we need funding. And I never in a million years thought I would come on asking for funding. But we do need funding. There are many ways that you can contribute to the church through electronic banking means. Please check our website. That will give you an idea of how that you can contribute to this show. But I can promise you, it doesn't get anybody's pay raised. The only thing it does is help us continue to upgrade equipment, make a better show for you. But if you can't do any of that, none of that, last but not least, please tell a friend, talk to you, come together, watch the show, give us feedback, send us some information. That's what we most need to hear. So on behalf of Jeff, our producer Amy, who continues into 2022, I am Al Ernst, and you have been watching Uniquely